Hi friends, I'm Abby and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a substantial unhaul. I thought it was time to clear out my shelves a little bit. I have been slowly piling up a little stack of books down here of some books that I want to unhaul, and now I feel like there is definitely enough to do an unhaul. I did a final go through my shelves, checking over them to see if there was anything else, and actually I came out with quite a few from that shelf go over. I was like, right, we're going to be brutal, we're going to unhaul. So last weekend I filmed my book haul and that came to 15 books, and then I sort of had this aim in my head of I should be able to get to 15 books that I want to unhaul to compensate for the 15 books that I brought in, which I've successfully done. I have 18 books here to unhaul, so I am balancing the books, I guess, that the books coming in and the books going out are matching, rotating the books in and out of the household. I do not want to be keeping books that I do not like on my shelves. My shelves should be a reflection of my favourite books and my taste in books. I do endeavour that all the shelves are going to be mostly read books. I have just a couple of shelves of unread books, which I am slowly trying to get my TBR down. And I typically don't really unhaul from the TBR pile because I want to give them a chance, and I'm mostly excited about everything on my TBR. Anyway, these are all books that I have read, and I've decided that I, for whatever reason, will probably not reread. A lot of them I think I actually quite enjoyed. There are some that I didn't finish, and that's the reason. But quite a few of these I enjoyed and gave maybe 4 stars even, but I don't think I would reread them, and I think that my shelf space is so limited that I need to remove them from the shelf so that I can make way for books that are going to be potentially 5 stars and new favourites. I've got the 2 shelves. It's probably unlikely I'm going to get any more at least anytime soon. So for now, these ones can leave. There is not much order to this at all. So we will just dive on in. So I am going to be getting rid of the Godblind trilogy by Anna Stephens. I think I read these, I think 2020. I enjoyed them. They're very brutal. They're very, very brutal. I found these were ultra grimdark. I don't think I'll reread them. I have vivid memories of how dark they were, and I enjoyed them. It's like a multi-perspective fantasy story in this very dark world that involves blood magic and sacrifice and torture. There's a big siege. I can't remember which book that's in, but there's a massive siege. 2 opposing forces trying to conquer the other in a very brutal world. And for the most part, I enjoyed it. This edition is an advanced copy that I got from when my mum worked in a bookshop. I mostly enjoyed it. I pretty much read it, I think, through. I'd had this book for quite a while in 2020, sat on my shelves unread. I eventually got to it and then read through the whole trilogy. And I'd say they were all about 4 stars-ish. I think they were all around there, that I enjoyed them all, but I don't think I will reread them, and I don't feel like I need to keep them. I am excited to read Anna Stephens' other books that have come out. I own one of them. I can't remember. It's the Latin America inspired one, and that one I'm really, really excited to read. I don't feel like I need to keep these ones for right now. They're quite pretty. I do quite like the covers, but they can disappear. One I read this year that I quite enjoyed is A Taste of Golden Iron by Alexandra Rowland. This is a fantasy romance following a prince and his bodyguard, and I enjoyed this one. I enjoyed their romance. I felt like it was very well developed. Their sort of hate to love friendship that they have. I enjoyed the twists and turns. I enjoyed the politics. I think this was really well done. I just don't think I will reread it. It was like a 4-star book. I really did enjoy this one. I really did enjoy this one. And this one I was on, off. But I don't think I will reread it, which is why it should go to someone else. Again, this one is an advanced copy. I got this one at the Atlas 6 event that Libby Blake did, and Tor were giving out this book in the goodie bags. An advanced copy that I got at Yauk. I can't see myself reading it. I really can't see myself reading it. I think I should just pass it on. That I really don't think this will be read. I have so many books on my TBR. I haven't got to them. Some of those books I've been really excited about, and I've had them for a couple of years. So I don't think I'm going to get to this one where I'm not that excited about it, that I wouldn't have picked it up unless I was given the arc. That it's not something that I am going to prioritise, I don't think, so I think this one can just go as well. Firekeeper's Daughter. I read this one earlier this year. and I enjoyed it. I think, again, I gave this one like 3.5, 4 stars. That I enjoyed it. It's not my traditional genre. I don't normally read like a contemporary mystery, I'd say, but I enjoyed this one. I listened to it mostly on audio, and I think that was like a good way to go about it. But again, I don't think I'll reread it. It's very pretty. Like, I think it's a nice addition. This was gifted to me, and I do feel a little bit funny about like unhauling gifted books, but then if I don't have the space, I don't have the space, and it's better off that this goes to somebody that's actually going to read it and love it, enjoy it, and it can have another life. Like, it's had one life with me, and now it can go on and have another life somewhere else. This one I did not finish, and that was Invictus by Ryan Gordon. I have really loved some of Ryan's other books that I read quite a few years ago now, and I think that's the issue with this one, that I have now outgrown it. That it's a YA story, and it is quite cliche YA, sci-fi time travel story. That it was fun, fast-paced, but I wasn't really getting anything out of it. That it wasn't appealing to me now, and where my reading tastes are now. That I think if you enjoy the like Amy Kaufman, Megan Spooner, Jay Kristoff sci-fi books like Illuminae, The Aurora Rising, I feel as though you would probably enjoy this, because I think it's on that same sort of vein, that fast-paced YA sci-fi adventure, and I think this would deliver on that. But for me, I'd sort of outgrown it. Another one I read this year and I thought was fine, but I was a little bit disappointed in this one, is The Long Game by Eleanor Armas, a contemporary romance following a football manager. Due to a media fiasco, she has been banished to the middle of nowhere, where she meets a football player, and it is them training the junior team together, and it was fine. It was absolutely fine. It did not give me butterflies. It did not make my like heart flutter at their romance. I actually didn't really like their romance. So I feel as though right now Spanish Love Deception has been a one-hit wonder for me, for Eleanor Armas, and I'm just not going to reread it. And I'm quite, I could say, picky with the romance books that I keep, or that I have on my shelves. That I don't keep that many of them. The romance shelves are like right at the top, but I don't feel like I need this. I really don't. Last year I read Parable of the Sower by Octavia E. Butler, and I was quite lukewarm on it. I kept it, I've kept it for like, the year and a half since I've read it. It's like a futuristic America, dystopian-esque, and I really think I wanted to love this one because I really enjoyed Kindred, and I feel as though I got a lot out of reading Kindred. And I think there is a lot that you can get out of this, but I didn't find it like a pleasurable reading experience. Not that Kindred is really a pleasurable reading experience because it's so dark, and this one is dark, but I didn't have that same experience that I had with that one. I don't see myself rereading it. I'm not continuing on with the series. Although I want to read more Octavia E. Butler, I don't feel as though I need to have this in my collection. I'm not someone that's like, I have to have the whole author's collection. And however much I feel as though I like Octavia E. Butler as like a person, and I want to read her books, I don't feel as though I want to be continuing with this series, and I don't feel like I need to keep this book. I think it's a very thought-provoking book, so it'll be good for more people to read it. I then have The Echo Wife by Sarah Gailey, which is like a thriller sci-fi short story, novella-esque story. I read this, I think I actually have a vlog where I read this one. It was fun. I think, again, I probably enjoyed this one, gave it like 4 stars. I had a lot of fun with it. It was quite fun. I enjoyed the twists and turns and the different reveals that we get in this book, and following our characters. I did really enjoy this one. I'm pleasantly surprised by how much I liked it. But again, I don't think I'm going to reread it. I don't feel like I need to keep this one. One that I'm sad I didn't like is Engines of Empire by R.S. Ford. This is the first book in a trilogy, the Age of Uprising trilogy. I wish I liked this. I buddy read this with Stephanie from Stephanie's Bookverse. I think she enjoyed it more than I did. And in theory, like, I feel like I should have liked this. Like, it's a multi-perspective fantasy story. It's got an intriguing world, magic system. Characters are relatively intriguing, but I just didn't click with any of it. I didn't connect. And I wish I really liked this, because I picked this book up in New York when I went last year, and I feel as though I should be keeping it because of like that sentimental attachment to where I bought the book. It is a memento from that trip, but that shouldn't be the only reason why I'm keeping a book. I shouldn't be keeping a book because of where I bought it. I should be keeping books that I love, and unfortunately this one was not loved. It was like a 3.5 star. I wish I liked it. I really do wish I loved this one, and that I was obsessed with it, but I'm just not. Yeah, I'm slightly sad about it. I've got one other book that I picked up in New York, which is Exhalation by Ted Chiang, and I really hope that one I enjoy, and that one I keep, because this one I'm not. I'm also going to unhaul A Spindle Splintered by Alex E. Harrow, which is the first in this like novella series that she's done, retelling fairy tales. This one following Sleeping Beauty, and I enjoyed it. It was fine, but I don't, again, see myself rereading. I feel as though with Alex E. Harrow, I've read quite a few, well, not quite a few, I've read a few of her books now. I've read this one, I read A Mirror Mended, which is a sequel to this, which I really did not like. Luckily, I read that one as a NetGalley arc. I've read The Once and Future Witches, which I found relatively average, and I read 10,000 Doors of January, which I enjoyed. That one I gave like 4 stars. And every time I'm like, I'm gonna love this book. I love her premises. And then I end up not like giving them 5 stars, but then I keep retrying more and more and more, that I'm interested in reading Starling House by her. But I'm not ending up with the successes that I feel as though I should be getting for the amount of books that I am reading from this author. The other authors that get these same ratings I give up on. So why do I keep going with Alex E. Harrow? It was a cute book. It's got like cute like drawings throughout it, but I don't feel like I should be keeping it. A disappointment from earlier this year is One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. I read this in October. I did vlog it actually for my like Spookopoly vlog. I was just disappointed in it. I really wanted more from this. It lacked depth for me. There were so many plot conveniences and characters meeting due to ridiculous circumstances, and I just really wanted more. Like, it was atmospheric, but I wanted more from like the characters, the romance, the side characters and their lack of depth, just everything. I wanted more, and I so wish I liked it, because on paper I was like, I'm gonna love this book, and then it fell flat, and I was like, no, how dare this book fall flat. So unfortunately, another one that I enjoyed but I don't think I'm going to reread is Redemption in Indigo by Karen Lord, which is a like fairy tale retelling, but it's a mix of Caribbean and Senegalese influences. And this one, I liked it, I enjoyed it, but I don't think I'm going to reread it. I don't feel like I need to keep it, so it can leave my shelves and someone else can enjoy it really and hopefully love it, instead of it just sitting on my shelves gathering dust and not really like going to much use. So another one that I will just move along with. One that I paused, DNF'd, is Sister Song by Lucy Holland. This is a like standalone 3 siblings. It's based on an old British folk ballad, and there was elements of this that I was enjoying, but it just wasn't like fully connecting with me. So I put it down and I just never came back to it, and I don't think I will be coming back to it. This was my mum's, so I guess I shall return it to my mum. I don't know if she's got any attachments to it, but in theory I will return it to her and it can leave my household, leave my bookshelves and go back onto her bookshelves. Another romance where I felt like it was good, it was fine, it was fine. I don't feel the need to keep it is Bringing Down the Duke by Evie Dunmore. I enjoyed this, but I didn't love it. I don't feel like I need to keep it. It really was, it was fine. It was absolutely fine, but it doesn't need to stay. It doesn't need to stay because I'm not going to reread it. It was pretty fine. It was pretty fine. And another one that I gave up on at some point along the way was Girl, Serpent, Thorn by Melissa Bashardoust. This one felt too young for me. It felt quite insta-lovey. It had an interesting magic system. It's a like Persian-inspired setting. There were so many elements that in theory sounded interesting, but I have outgrown it. That maybe if I'd read this when I was a teenager, I would have liked it, but it wasn't for me where I am now, and it wasn't really doing much for me. It felt quite YA, which is absolutely fine if that's what you're interested in, but it's not what I gravitate towards now, that I do still read some YA books, but they have to be like extra special. They have to like stand out, and this one wasn't standing out for me, unfortunately, despite me being interested in the Persian influences. And then I guess I'm ending on a slightly controversial one. I think I'm going to unhaul The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune, which is a lovely book. I've got it in hardback as well. Like, it's a lovely book. But again, I feel like this is a 4-star book for me, that I enjoyed it, but I had a few faults with it, that I don't think I enjoyed this as much as like everybody else. I wanted more of a plot, that it rode a wave of like cuteness and cute characters, but actually I wanted more plot and more depth, and not just cute characters. I don't think I would reread this, so I think I shall just pass this one along and somebody else can enjoy it. Again, I feel bad because it was a gift, and I'm like, oh, somebody gifted me this like nice hardback book of like one of their favourite books, and I enjoyed it, but I don't feel like I want to keep it, which makes me feel a bit guilty, sad, that I'm passing on a book that I've been gifted. But yeah, it is what it is. So that is that. Those are all of the books that I'm going to be passing along, that are not going to be staying on my shelves any longer, that I'm clearing out. I'm quite happy with my like books in, books out ratio, and keeping my shelves as tidy as possible, and making sure that my shelves are a true reflection of the books that I love, and giving myself a little bit more space, not a lot, because space is at a premium on these shelves, and it's a constant challenge trying to Jenga all of the books into place. But there we go, there is my little unhaul for the end of the year. Let me know if you are unhauling books as we move into the end of the year, or not, if you are just hoarding the books, because that is also completely okay, especially if you have the space to hoard the books. I do not, but if I did, maybe I wouldn't be as brutal as I am with my unhauls. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my future videos. Bye!